Hi, in this video I will be presenting how to configure autoscaling. Here I'm using US East to region AMI ID, and using this AMI ID I'll be provisioning in US West 1 region. Since I don't want to configure the previous AMI ID which is in US East 2, which is a time consuming. With the help of Terraform, I'll be provisioning the new AMI ID in any region. In this scenario, I will use US West 1. This is the concept of this tutorial. This region has an AMI ID. The region is US East 2. I want to provision this AMI ID in this region which is US West 1. Since I have all the configuration servers and application code and other configuration tools are in this AMI ID, I want to use this AMI ID in this region by using Terraform. This is the infrastructure of this video presentation. Here I have VPC with CIDR block 10.0.0.0/16, as this VPC is located in US West 1 region. Here you can see the autoscaling group is integrated with application load balancer. When the new instance is provisioned in autoscaling group, it will automatically integrate with the application load balancer. Let's start with the Terraform code. As I kept my code in GitHub, I want to pull this code in my local machine. I'm gonna make a directory on my desktop. Scaling. As you can see, I have my own development environment and I have my modules. If you go through the modules, I have my EC2, VPC and ALB and autoscaling group. As you can see, this is the Terraform code for AWS AMI. It's a copy of an AMI which is in US East 2. As you can see from this image is in US East 2 and I want to clone it in US West 1. And this is the tag and this is the output of this particular AMI. Since we gonna use this AMI in launch configuration, for that purpose we need this output. I can show you this AMI ID in my US East region. This is US East 2. You can see this is my AMI ID 976 976. At first we're going to create the VPC. This is the actual VPC with the identifier name main, and I have the setter block and the instance tenancy which is default. I'm going to change the tag. VPC. This part of code will show the how many availability zones we have in US West 1 region, and I'm gonna attach the internet gateway to this particular VPC. You can see AWS underscore VPC main.id, and I'm going to change the name for this internet gateway, which is development internet gateway, and I have a route table. I will change the name for this route table. I will change the this is the identity. I will change the name here. Since we are using the auto scaling and application load balancer, we need two subnets. Here we have subnet 1, and which is associated which is in this particular VPC, and this is subnet 2. Let me format the code. Yeah, this is a route table association. Since we need routing for this particular subnets 1 and 2, this is subnet 1 association. For this one, you can see AWS subnet public 1 ID, and this is subnet 2 association to the route table. Since we need a security group, this is my security group, and I will change the name for this security group. Dev, I have to change here as well. Dev VPC security group. Here I have inbound access and outbound access, where I have given port number 22 and port number 80 for the protocol TCP, which I want to access my EC2 instance, and I have given all my CIDR block values in variables.df. Here you can see the VPC CIDR block, and this is subnet 1 CIDR block, and this is subnet 2 CIDR block. As I need the outputs of this two subnets, since I'm going to use this particular output in my application load balancer as well as in my auto scaling, and of course I need my VPC ID and the security group output as well. Now let's move on to ALB. This is the code for application load balancer. In application load balancer, as we need at the target group, this is the health check with the interval of 30 seconds to check your system is healthy for every 30 seconds. If you decrease it to 10 seconds, the load will get increased for the system. This is the ping path, and the protocol is HTTP, and the timeout is 5 seconds, and the healthy threshold is also 5 seconds. For example, if an instance is unhealthy, the load balancer will check twice for 30 seconds, and if the load balancer will determine the instance is unhealthy and the particular instance is terminated from the service. Here is the name. I will change the name. Here I will keep the healthy threshold to 3. Since the Apache server is running on port number 80 with the HTTP protocol, so I have used port number 80. This is the actual load balancer with the identifier div the load balancer type is application load balancer. We have security group for this load balancer. I will talk about this later. And subnets, as we need two subnets, subnet 1 and subnet 2. Deletion, enable deletion protection, I want to keep it as true. I want to change the name, development application load balancer, as the environment is done. It's a spelling mistake. The environment is development, and I have the listener, the load balancer ARN. Since we have changed the name to dev LB, which has port 80 and protocol HTTP. The default action type is forward. The target group ARN. This is our target group, which you can see here, and this is our security group for our load balancer. This is the inbound and this is the outbound, and I will change as we change the name for our security group. We have to change this name to. Now we are pretty much done with load balancer. Now I will move to auto scaling. As you can see, we have to provision the launch configuration in auto scaling with the image ID, since we are using the image ID from our EC2 instance, which has an output here. I will later tell you in the development environment. So close, and so this is the launch configuration, and it has a security group which is the VPC level. Since I'm using the clone of an AMI and everything is pre-configured in this particular AMI, so I don't need to provide the user data. And of course we need a key pair for this particular instance, and I will show you how to use the key pair. And this is the actual autoscaling group. This is the launch configuration. I'm gonna change the name, div launch config. Come on. And I will change the name here. It should automatically pop up. I will change the name here as well to demo, and I will change div autoscaling group. VPC zone identifier, since we need two subnets for autoscaling. This is the target group ARN. Since we are using application load balancer, we have to use target group ARN. This is the health check type, which is ELB. This is the health check grace period. This health check will start after your EC2 up and running, cause EC2 instance will take couple of minutes to initialize your application. After 120 seconds, the health check will start for your instance. Here in autoscaling group, we have minimum 1 and maximum 3. I will change the name to demo div autoscaling, as we need autoscaling policies. This is the autoscaling policy, and this is the autoscaling group name. Here we need to change the name, since I have changed, which is div ASG, which has a scaling adjustment 1. When we have the traffic load more than 70% of CPU utilization, which is greater than or equal to the threshold, automatically the autoscaling will provision a new instance to this autoscaling group. And I have to change the name here as well, div ASG. And this is the scale in policy, which means the instance will decrease if the CPU utilization is less than 10%, and which is the scaling adjustment is -1. The scale in policy will decrease the in EC2 instances from maximum to minimum. AWS autoscaling notification, we need a notification when EC2 instance is launched or EC2 instance is terminated with the help of SNS, which is simple notification service. In Terraform, we don't have this email notification, but we can do it in AWS console. As I need to change the names here for the autoscaling group, ASG. Let me check if I have more. Dave SNS. SNS. In autoscaling, if any instance is unhealthy, the autoscaling will terminate that particular instance and it will replace with a brand new instance using launch configuration. So this is our launch configuration which we discussed before, and we'll look at variables. Here we need a public subnet and public subnet 2 and the target group ARN. We need a VPC ID, image ID, we need a key. I will show you how to do it, and of course we need a security group, which is the VPC level security group. Now we will go to our terminal. You can enter the password or you don't need to enter the password. I will enter the password. As you can see, we got our public key and private key. So everything is good. So make sure you change the names for the SNS topic. And now we will move to our dev environment, which has main.tf. As we discussed, the infrastructure will be provisioning in US West 1, and I have created a module for my VPC and I have created another module for my EC2 instance. The module for ALB, here we need a VPC ID. I'll try to format the code, and we need two subnets for the application load balancer, and we need for autoscaling group For auto-scaling group, we need a VPC ID, two subnets, and security group. As our auto-scaling group has a load balancer, which is application load balancer, for that purpose we need target group ARN, and we need an image ID for the launch configuration in auto-scaling group, and we need a key. I will change the name DVSG. I have to change here as well. So my test key, so this is okay. So in variable.tf we have given dev underscore asg. So everything is good. I want to give my VPC CIDR block and subnet 2 CIDR blocks values here. So I want to go to VPC. I don't want to give it here. Zero slash 16. .1.0/24. Mistake. Now we will provision our infrastructure in US West 1. Terraform plan. Okay, first we have to initialize Terraform init. Now we will run Terraform plan. It might take a couple of seconds. As we are getting errors, modules characters in the name. So to undeclared resource. And we'll check now. I hope it works. So the code says 26 to add, 1 to change, and 3 to destroy. Previously I run this code as we changed the names, so it has to forcefully change the names. Yeah, force replacement of the names. So now we apply Terraform. As I got an error creating subnet the value. Oopsie. Alright, good. Yeah, so we will do it again. Hopefully it will work this time. I think it won't take a long time. Let's see. Meanwhile, we can go and see our console. So this is US West 1. As you can see, the instance is running. As you can see, this is the same output of US East 1 instance, and we will go and check. There is one instance running. So we have cloned this server to our US West 1 region, and let's check all the target groups, load balancers. you can see the dev target group. Now we'll see the load balancer. Here is our load balancer, and now we'll see the launch configuration. Here you go, this is our launch configuration, and now we will see our auto scaling group. After this I will show you how to configure your email in SNS. So this is the instance, and this is a desired instance, the minimum and maximum. As you can see, the health check grace period. We'll see the scaling policies. As we discussed, we have two scaling policies. This is a scale up EC2, and this is the scale in. Oh, I have to keep scale out and scale in. Anyway, so we'll try to connect to our EC2 instance. This is the IP. US West 1. And this is our IP. SSH I dev ASG EC2 user at. I think this will ask for the password. Let's check whether we can do scale out with our auto scaling group. In our auto scaling group, I will use this command to increase the CPU workload. Dev as you can see, the CPU workload is increasing more than 70%. It should provision a new instance after a couple of minutes. Meanwhile, I can show you the SNS. Make sure you're in the right region. As you can see, the name dev SNS topic. Go inside and create a subscription. Here we need an email. Try to provide your email and create subscription. As soon as you create subscription, you will get an email. In that email you have to click a link to receive the notifications for scale in and scale out in auto scaling. Now we'll go to our auto scaling group. Let's see, Yeah, the new instance is provisioned, and we will try to kill this. Okay. We have to use this number 3527. After a few minutes, our new instance will, sorry, the old instance will terminate, not the new instance. The instance which provision first, it will terminate. The new instance will stay. Basically that's it for this session. Thank you. Have a great day.